I'm John Green. This is Crash Course World History, and today we're going to be talking about a famous American family. It starts with a K, and they're well known and beloved by all. No, Stan, the Kennedys. They might as well be considered the American version of the British royal family, considering we're still obsessed with how they died and who they're dating. More on that later. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, or JFK as he later became commonly known, was born in Brookline, Massachusetts on May 29, 1917. His father was a wealthy investor who encouraged his children to become involved politically. He attended boarding school in Connecticut and later Harvard, where he was, at both places, popular socially, but had mediocre grades. His real rise to prominence didn't occur until 1960 in his run against Richard Nixon for the office of president. It would become the closest election in history. Let's go to the thought bubble. Nixon, running for the Republican Party, was running with Henry Cabot Lodge, and Kennedy for the Democrat Party with Lyndon B. Johnson. These were the first televised debates. Kennedy looked good, wearing a blue suit that stood out against the background, but Nixon looked slightly less than that, wearing a gray suit that blended in. Television watchers thought Kennedy had won, while radio listeners thought Nixon had won the election. JFK hoped to pull together key elements of the Roosevelt coalition of the 1930s, urban minorities, ethnic voting blocs, and organized labor. He also hoped to win back conservative Catholics who had deserted the Democrats in the 1950s, and to hold his own in the South. While Nixon emphasized the record of the Eisenhower years, he pledged to keep the federal government from dominating the free market economy and the lives of the American people. Because of these televised debates, JFK won for looking better and having the prettier family. There was Jackie O. Kennedy, who would later become a fashion icon, their daughter Caroline, who is the only one currently surviving to this day, and, well, their son Jack wasn't born until 14 months after the election. Sorry, Jack. This debate paved the way for all future debates by being the first televised debate. Since then, upwards of 95% of the elections have been determined by which candidate is considered to have the better hair.
Mr. Green, does that mean someday I'll be president since my hair is so perfect?
No, me from the past. You actually have to be popular to win. Though, about 70% of elections can be determined simply by which candidate is better looking. Unfortunately for Nixon, he had bad hair, a blah suit, and was sweating profusely throughout the entire debate. One of the main issues of Kennedy's presidency was that of the Cold War. Now, the Cold War lasted basically from the end of World War II until the 80s, and that's a lot of history and a lot of dates and facts. Basically, the US and Russia, between them, things were really, really tense. There was a race for development of nuclear weapons, the threat of nuclear attack, and the space race, which is what caused the United States to be the first to land on the moon, even though Russia beat us on about everything else. Now, perhaps almost as famous as John Kennedy was his wife, Jackie Kennedy. She was a fashion icon and set precedents for all other first ladies about how they should be dressed, which is well. Unfortunately for Jackie, she wasn't good enough. JFK's presidency was marked by affairs, the most famous of which being Marilyn Monroe. Interestingly enough, Jackie knew about it the whole time, but she kept her appearance as cool, calm, and collected, and the perfect right-hand woman for JFK. It's time for the open letter. An open letter to Marilyn Monroe. But first, let's see what's in the secret compartment. Oh look, it's a rosary. Those good Catholic Kennedys. Dear Marilyn Monroe, your name is forever intrinsically linked to John Kennedy. You term weren't exactly sly and sneaky. You were and continue to be a major sex symbol in our society, and boasted a size 14 before Twiggy made bones poking out of your skin fashionable. And you are often called upon as a rallying sign for curvy women everywhere. Not to mention, you are the reason that subway vents are considered sexy. Dirty, smelly subway vents are now beckoning women everywhere to stand over them with white flowy skirts in need of some weighting down. You are quoted as telling JFK once, during one of your affairs, that if you can't handle me at my worst, you sure don't deserve me at my best. You are a symbol for strong, independent, and curvy, beautiful women everywhere. And then you mysteriously died of a drug overdose, which is often blamed on the Kennedys. So, best wishes, John Green. All this goes to show that it's rather difficult to run a country if you have a harem. Unless you are, wait for it, the Mongols. Perhaps what JFK is most famous for is not his life, but his death. The JFK assassination occurred at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday, November 22nd, 1963, in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. JFK was there for a parade and was riding with his wife, the governor, and the governor's wife. At 12:30, Lee Harvey Oswald, who was perched in the 6th floor of the Book Depository building, shot JFK through the head with a sniper. 80% believe that there is another plot.
Mr. Green, didn't the CIA kill President Kennedy?
No, although there are more conspiracy theories about the JFK assassination, then my ex-girlfriend has problems. The CIA, FBI, Secret Service, Cuba, Russia, supremacy groups, and some people say there's a connection between Lee Harvey Oswald and John Wilkes Booth. All of these things have been blamed for the JFK assassination, when in fact it was just a man mad at the leader who got a sniper in a building. So the assassination of JFK just leads into what is commonly known as the Kennedy curse. Both JFK and Bobby Kennedy were killed by assassination. Jack Kennedy, John Kennedy's son, died in a plane crash. Patrick died at birth. And Ted drove into a lake, killing a woman that wasn't his wife. Yes. Which just goes to show that the curse not only applies to their deaths, but maybe the fact that they have trouble with women. The Kennedys are the only Catholic family to ever hold the office of presidency. Most presidents have been Protestants and continue to be Protestants. The Kennedys also enforced the idea of hair and appearance, of both your physical appearance and how you present yourself, and the importance of public elections. Also, Jackie Kennedy set precedent for the First Lady being an icon for fashion and the way that women in the country are viewed. The JFK assassination just further strengthened the tensions of the Cold War. The chaos of his assassination just led to more chaos around the country and the world. This goes to show what an integral role the president can play in the stability of the country, and how his iconic persona really is what gives the American people their power and their national identity. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. And as they say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.